guys, today I thought I would jump on and do a full-faced everyday makeup look. This is pretty much the look I wear every single day. I wear it almost every time I film. I wear it for church, for date night, unless I'm doing something very different or very dramatic. Most of my looks look about like how this looks. So if you've been curious about the kind of makeup I've been wearing in my past videos, then you'll enjoy this video and it'll teach you kind of what I do on an everyday basis. So if you want to see how to get this look, then just keep watching. So before putting on any makeup, I did put moisturizer on my skin. I haven't really been using primers, but I've been using my moisturizer as a primer just to kind of hydrate the skin, because that's really what I look for in a primer, is a hydrator. So instead of buying a separate one, at the moment I've just been using my moisturizer. So I'm going to go in with the Herborian. This is a Korean line that is carried by Sephora. This is their BB cream in the shade Claire. I haven't tried it yet. I have swatched it and I do believe it'll be a good match for my skin tone. The only drawback I would say for this that I can see already is there's only 2 shades that you can get and they seem to be pretty light. So if you have darker skin tone, this one isn't a very good option for you. But there are lots of other good ones. I really like the Cosmetics CC cream. It's probably going to have a lot more coverage than this will, but I'm going to just put this on and see how it works. Okay, I'm going to try just going in with my fingers and see if I get a little better coverage. And it seemed like that bit of product just didn't go very far. So I'm going to see if this will help spread it around a little bit better. Yeah, I think this is the way to go. So if you do have this product, I would say try using your fingers instead of a beauty blender or a brush. A brush might work better than the beauty blender, but the beauty blender just seemed to really soak up this, maybe because it's such a moisturizing product. It seemed to really soak it up and not spread the pigmentation around very well. If you see me looking down, it's because this is where my mirror is. I can't do my whole makeup looking in the viewfinder right here because it's very small. I'm going to go in with my Instant Age Rewind. This is in the Brightener shade. Both of the concealers I'm using today I talked about in my favorites. So if you are curious about a little bit more about both of them, you can go to my favorites video. I'll have it linked down below and up in the cards. So I just like to mostly focus this one on the inner corners. This one is a brightener, so it's mostly to cancel out any darkness. It's on the more pink side, so I do go over it with another concealer. Next I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape, and this one is more towards the color of my skin tone. It's not too much lighter, so I'm going to go in under my eyes, and I'm also going to put it around my chin where I have spots. Sometimes I really like to wear full coverage foundations, and then other days I like to wear much lighter ones and go in and really correct with concealer. I don't know why, it's just, it gives a different look, and sometimes I think that gives you a more, even though your skin isn't as covered, it gives you more of a perfected look because it looks like you have better skin, just because there isn't full coverage everywhere. You can still see your freckles coming through, or just like different light discoloration, and it makes you look like you have a bit better skin because you also don't see too much, you know, you just cover what really needs covering instead of everything. I'm not sure if any of that made sense, but it makes sense to me sometimes. So you can see just how much coverage that concealer really does have. I didn't really focus on my pimples too much because it just doesn't bother me that much when they're showing. But my under eyes, it really brightens up. It has really good coverage. It blends in super easy. So if you've been looking for a new concealer, that one is a really good one. To set under my eyes, I'm going in with my Sephora Pro Contour Brush and MAC Mineralize Skinfinish Natural in Light Plus. I probably need to go back to light pretty soon because this one does darken my under eye. But this is my favorite formula of a powder. It's just the best if you have drier skin. It doesn't overly mattify the skin, and it just doesn't give me that crepey look that a lot of other powders will do. And then to set the rest of my face, I'm using the IT brushes for Ulta. This is the Velvet Luxe 313. It's just kind of a fluffier brush. Like I said, I have drier skin and I don't feel like I need super high amounts of powder, so this one just really gives a light coverage of powder all over. For bronzer today, I'm going in with my MAC 135 into NARS Laguna. This is my absolute favorite brush for bronzer because it's more on the fluffy side, so it doesn't deposit color too harshly. Especially if you're on the fair side like me, this is much better than some other bronzing brushes I've tried that just really put way too much color down when you just need it to lightly give you a dusting of color, and it blends it out really well as you go. While it still is pretty slim, so you can try to contour with it if you want. I will sometimes. I'm really not into contouring like I used to. I just kind of bronze and that's about it. For blush today, I'm going in with a favorite. This is the Fiona Stiles Sweetwater. I've talked about this a good bit in the past. It is my perfect blush shade. If I don't really know what to wear, I always go for this. It's a very light pink. It probably won't show up on all skin types, but for more on the fair to medium probably, this is a really pretty blush color. Now I'm going in with the Urban Decay Afterglow Highlighter in Sin. This is a IT Cosmetics fan brush that I'm going in with as well, and I'm just kind of hitting tops of my cheekbones, my nose, and my Cupid's bow is really the only places I highlight. Before I go in with my eyeshadow, I'm going to do my brows. I've really been enjoying all of these new Benefit brow products. I got all three of these in a kit. This is the Precisely My Brow, the Browvo, I think like Browvo conditioning primer, and the highbrow. All three of these I've really been enjoying, and then I'm also using the Gimme Brow in the shade 3. It's a little bit darker than what I've used in the past, and it's just in the newer packaging. I got this in a Birchbox. These three actually came in a kit, and I'll have the kit linked down below. I got mine at Ulta, or no, I got mine at Sephora, but I believe it's at Ulta and Sephora. So if you do see these, it's a really good deal to get all of these, because these, I believe, are full size, and this is a smaller size, but I don't think I would need a full size of this. So first I'm going to go in with the brow conditioner. This is it kind of cranks up and then you brush it through. It has little nubbies on here that kind of brush through. It almost works as a brow gel. If you're not wanting a super harsh brow gel, then this will just kind of tame your brows for you, or it preps your brows for putting on other products. So next I'm going in with the Precisely My Brow pencil, and this is in the shade 2. This is shade 2, and then my Gimme Brow is in shade 3. But I just comb through with the spoolie first, and I'm not that great at brows, so I wouldn't necessarily take too much from me, and I have pretty thick brows anyway. But I really just kind of like to fill in the front a little bit where it's a little more sparse, and then I like to kind of tame my tail of my brow and just make it all look a little bit more uniform. Right, and to make sure it's not too harsh, go back through with the spoolie, and I really do this for a good while just to make sure there's no harsh lines and it doesn't look like my brows are super filled in. Okay, and the other eye. Now I'm going to go in with the Gimme Brow in the shade 3. This is a little bit darker than what I usually use, but I kind of like it in the winter and fall to have a little bit deeper, darker, more bold brows. So I've been enjoying this, but if I bought the full size, I probably would get shade 2 again instead of shade 3. Finish it off and prep for eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with Highbrow. This is a really nice brow highlight. For me, I usually have issues finding eyeshadows that are really bright enough that aren't straight white to highlight my brow bone, so I really like using this underneath, and it really helps define and brighten for my skin tone. So for today's eye look, I'm going to go ahead and prep with MAC Painterly. This is just a really nude tone. This one is a little bit more on the neutral pink side. If you have very strong yellow undertones, or you just want a more yellow based one, you can get, I think it's soft ochre maybe, but I have Painterly and I really love this. It's just a nice base to really get rid of any veining and just give you a nice base color to work with. It's not the best at making your eyeshadow stay, but it is much better than just putting it on a blank eyelid. So for eyeshadow today, I am doing my everyday look. I've had a couple different requests on videos of me to recreate eye looks, and I don't actually know what I've used on those specific videos. I kind of change up what shadows I use, but I almost always do the exact same look. So I'm going to show you that look using the LORAC Pro 3 today, but alternatively I use Makeup Geek or MAC eyeshadow. So I'm going to have the alternative of what I would use down below in the description box. So after I have the LORAC shade listed, I'll put the one that goes kind of the same way in MAC and Makeup Geek. So if you have any of those shadows, you can go with the exact same look. But like I said, I just kind of do the same look with different shadows. I go in with the MAC Pro 3. I've really been enjoying this. It has a nice range of colors. It's much more on the more medium toned eyeshadow shades. So if you just kind of like a light everyday look, then you'll like this palette. I have a full review that I'll have linked down below if you're curious. But I'm going to first go in with my Sigma E40. And I'm going to take the shade Canvas and just completely set my eyes. So I'm going to just go over my eyelid all the way up into the crease. I really can't see what I just did, but what that does is it sets the cream that we just put down with the matte painterly, and it makes everything else that we put on blend better because it'll be blending into a powder instead of blending into a cream where it can kind of catch and skip. So I'm now going to go in with the shade Terracota, and this is just a nice, more warm kind of a transition shade. That's usually the type of warm, like I usually go for warm shades. So this one is just a really nice, pretty one, and I'm going to just start working in the crease with that same brush. And I do tend to put colors in the outer corner for my eye shape. I just think it's more flattering. So I do try to focus a little bit on the outer corner, but I just mostly am blending it in the crease at the moment. To go one step deeper, I'm going to go into the shade right here called Clay. And it's a little bit more on the neutral medium side. It's not quite as light, and it'll deepen this up just a bit. Once I've put down the color and a lot of there's not much on the brush anymore, I just start kind of blending a little crazier, just because it's not placing product anymore, it's just really blending out any lines. So I'm just making sure every which way is nicely blended. Now for a lid shade, I'm going to go into the shade Rose Bronze and just place that all over the lid. And this is just kind of the typical lid color I go for. I like something kind of more on the neutral pinky champagne side. I'll have, like I said, other options listed down below in MAC and Makeup Geek shadow form, but it's just type of kind of the color I like to go for. Now I'm going to top it off with Almond Pearl and Light Gold, kind of mixed just to lighten up the lid color a little bit. Alright, now go back with your crease brush and just make sure that your crease colors blend well into the lid shade. To really deepen things up, I'm going into the shade Dark Brown with a MAC 217. And be sure to really tap off the excess or just dab it on the back of your hand just so it's not quite as harsh when you first go in. And I'm going to start on the outer corner and blend it up into the crease. This is usually the part where you get a little bit of fallout, so just go back in with whatever brush you used for powder earlier and just brush it away. Now I'm moving into that shade Clay, which was that more medium brown that we used, and I'm taking it on a IT Cosmetics 220 small shadow brush, and I'm going to just put this right underneath the eye. Then taking dark brown, I'm going to just place it on the outer corner. I'm going in with my absolute favorite Urban Decay Demolition. I use this in pretty much every tutorial because I use it pretty much every day. I haven't been using liquid liner much. I've mostly been using pencils, and in particular this one. So I'm going to go in and do my upper and bottom waterline and my upper lash line. I usually only place the eyeliner more from the pupil over, especially in my inner waterline, just because I want the inner corners to stay brighter. For the upper lash line, I just try to keep it pretty close to the lashes because I know I'm going in with a brush to kind of blend it out and smoke it out a little bit, so you don't have to be perfect with it. In with the angled liner brush now, and I'm going to smoke it out. And if you find that your eyeliner's already dried down some, you can either go straight onto the eyeliner and pick up some product with your brush, or you can go back into that dark brown shadow and use that to smoke it out. For mascara today, I'm going in with two of my favorites. I'm using the Voluminous Feline Noir on my top lashes, and then I'm going to go in with the Supersizer for my bottom lashes. And for lips today, I'm going in with the Kylie lip liner, and I'm using my Dior Lip Maximizer on top of it. I've really been enjoying this, and this is the lip look I've been wearing pretty much every day. So that is the finished everyday makeup look. It is what I pretty much go to for every day, unless I'm doing something particularly dramatic or really wanting to try out some new colors. This is pretty much what I wear. So like I said, I'll have all the different options linked down below of different eyeshadows you can use, but I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that it was helpful for you. And if you want to see more videos from me, then don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.